Hello, you lovely ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mingso. And today I welcome you guys back to another Advanced Wars A Cup replay commentary. This time around we are covering the controversial Round 7. And I know I call every round controversial, but there were a lot of controversial maps in this tournament. You may remember in Round 2 we had a map that had constant rain. Well, Round 7 has constant snow. However, this time around the map is actually designed around it. It's a map called Winter Wrap-Up. I dug deep into the Advanced Wars by Web map base to fish up this map. I think it was used for a tournament many years ago. And as you can see, while this map has constant snow, it also has a lot of terrain which are not affected by snow, like roads, properties, shoals, these empty missile silos right here, and even rivers. Rivers actually do not slow down infantry anymore in the snow than they otherwise would. They still pay 2 movement cost to move over. I'm a little uncertain when it comes to mechs, actually. Mechs might pay 2. That's something I would need to check, actually. I'm a little unsure about that. However, you may be a little surprised to know that forests actually only slow down infantry in the snow. This is actually something I was not aware of. In my head, I always thought, snow, of course it slows down forests more, but no, actually, vehicles pay the same movement cost over forests in the snow as they do in sunny weather. So it's rain that slows down vehicles in the forest. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. And obviously, playing a map in constant snow really requires you to know your movement values because it really changes the rules of the game. Air units in particular are complete garbage in permanent snow because their movement is just permanently halved. But some people did find a workaround for this, which I'll get into in a bit. But first, I'd like to talk about an insane gimmick that we added on top of this, and this was done after testing the map multiple times. I did some test games with Witty 711, and that's the fact that we have enabled the one and only Black Bomb. Yes, you heard correctly, guys. The Black Bomb in a tournament setting. Of course, if you don't know what the Black Bomb is, I won't fault you because it's banned in every single game on Advanced Wars by Web. It's that little unit that blows itself up. You can build it from the airport. Normally, it's banned in every game because it's kind of stupid, but we allowed it on this map because on this map, the Black Bomb only has 4 move. So it's a lot harder to utilize. However, people did find a workaround for this, and you may notice that this is a Drake mirror matchup between ttam and Fluhfie. And the reason why Drake was a popular pick on this map, it's a tier 3 matchup by the way, is the fact that Drake can temporarily remove the snow with his Typhoon, creating rain instead. And what happens during the rain? Well, your air unit suddenly gets unshackled movement for a day, including your Black Bombs. Now, Drake doesn't like air units very much. He gets a big firepower penalty to battlecopters, bombers, fighters, and so forth. But his Black Bombs are no weaker than any other Black Bombs because, of course, they don't really rely on firepower. They just deal 5 HP of damage in a huge area whenever they blow up. So it was pretty much like I knew we would see a lot of Drake picks in this round, and we did. We even saw a couple Cole picks, which I found pretty hilarious because look at this map, it's filled with roads, but it is a tier 3 matchup, so picking Cole for this match, not particularly great. I played a practice match against Witty where I played Drake and he played Cole, and I still beat him, and Witty's a lot better than me, so I still don't think it's a fantastic pick, but I did see some people do it. So, ttam and Fluhfie. I think Fluhfie is a content creator. I'm pretty sure I saw some of his videos in my recommended box one, so I'll throw a link to his video or channel in the video description if you guys want to go check it out. I think he does Advanced Wars by Web replay commentaries. And ttam, both of these players obviously they've advanced pretty far. I believe Fluhfie is the higher rated player of the two. I think ttam is around 1,100, 1,200 if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that. I think Fluhfie is like 1,300 at least. So it's a pretty high level matchup. So yeah, but this map is very unorthodox and ratings may not always apply because, again, this is such a weird match, playing in constant snow. It forces you to completely rethink your strategies because, of course, the movement costs are all in whack, Suddenly, like, your infantry can't cross forest tiles as easily, and that can really catch you off guard. There's, like, solitary plain tile right here. You may not be able to traverse it with a tank as quickly as you thought. And also, another interesting thing about this map is that you have these comm towers right here. And you can't capture them normally with infantry because they're surrounded by mountains. Infantry cannot cross mountains during the snow, but mechs can. So you'll need to build a mech, or alternatively a transport copter if you want to get this comm tower. So the map kind of forces an early game mech. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the introductions are over with, let us start with this map, shall we? Let's go! If you recognize this soundtrack, then you are my hero. Alright. So, ttam opens up infantry. Both players just gonna go grab their nearby bases. Nothing special here. Oh, actually something special here. Ttam is property skipping. So he's opting not to go for... Well, I guess he can't get this property because of the plain tiles, but he could get this one, but he opts to go for this property right here instead. So already ttam is he's property skipping. Fluhfie is not. Fluhfie is going for the save pick, so we have a save opener versus a risky opener. And ttam is property skipping again to grab the airport. Okay, interesting. So double property skip out of ttam right here. That is pretty ballsy, if I may say so myself. So, alright. Fluhfie now going for this property right here. I do believe the capture chain should be fairly simple from here on out. From this property, you can grab this one very easily, and then you can grab this one. You want to grab these two properties early on because they actually become very hard to take into the mid-game, I found in this map. Because while there's snow, there's also a lot of roads connecting both players. So recons, for example, extremely strong on this map because they have such insane mobility. And tanks too, like you build the tank and it's already there one turn after, like in the middle of the map. So again, this map, it looks a lot bigger than it is. It feels very small when you play it because of all the roads. Vehicles just reinforce immediately. So you have to try and contest the middle early on. So I actually kind of agree with what ttam is doing here, going for these middle properties, because he probably knows just how difficult it's going to be to take them later on. And yeah, artillery also very strong on this map. We're going to see both players building a lot of artillery in this matchup. Lots of really good places for these artillery to be. For example, like behind this river, you can plonk down an artillery. Here, for example, next to this mountain, put an infantry in front, so this artillery is now guarded on both sides. No infantry is going to make their way over this mountain, and air units are not really going to be a factor. Well, we might see some air units, but they're not very good. Battlecopters have 3 move in the snow, so artillery very strong on this map. Artillery and recons in particular are very, very good on this map. So ttam goes for the airport, and he's already sending a mech down. He doesn't go for the comm tower just yet, which I agree with. And here we have the first recon from ttam again. Just look at the range of this thing. They are incredibly strong. So it's really funny to see a map where both artillery and recons are strong. That's usually not the case because most maps which have good artillery don't have good recons, because good artillery maps tend to mean lots of forests, lots of plains, lots of rivers, lots of mountains. But at the same time, good maps for recons usually have lots of roads, which doesn't tend to be very good for artillery. So it's kind of weird to see a map where both artillery and recons are so good. A very unique map for sure. And yeah, see here, he can plonk it down here. He can cover both of these two properties if he wants to. It's going to be very hard for ttam to take these two properties. If he plonks down the artillery here, puts an infantry or a tank in front, for example, that artillery sits very comfortably there. So Fluhfie building some more infantry. Ttam goes for the airport, continues capturing the properties here, and in comes the recon again. Just look at, I want you to just look at the range of this thing. Look at how many squares it covers. It is absolutely disgusting. This is a very versatile recon. It can front switch on a dime. You know, it can, doesn't matter. It can just, you know, suddenly it's here, suddenly it's there. You never know when the recon's gonna go. And of course, you see this recon artillery. You love to see it. All right, Fluhfie's turn. Continues to cap some properties. He's going for the comm tower now. Interesting, putting his infantry in front. All right, I see. Okay, so he's already going to try to grab this property away from ttam. Ttam went this property really early on to try and get it. Fluhfie is now threatening it, but ttam does have this. Oh, okay, he's got to be careful. This recon is coming very close, and he's gonna need to wall that artillery off pretty well to protect it from the recon. And be careful. And he needs to be careful because, again, during the snow, there's some tiles which can cost more, like, for example, this forest tile right here. 2 movement costs for infantry, so he needs to be careful. That can really put a wrench in your plans. Out comes the tank to ward away the recon. That's smart. I understand why he's doing that. That makes a lot of sense. Whenever your opponent is pushing recons, you respond with tanks. Okay. Ttam, you can see that he's behind quite considerably. Sorry, I was looking at the income, or I was looking at the value, not the income. Ttam is ahead in income right now because he's going for those contested properties, but I do believe Fluhfie will race ahead in next turn. We'll see what happens. So another recon, so 2 recons out of ttam right here. So he's going to apply pressure to this wall right here, try to take down that artillery. We'll see if Fluhfie's going to be able to wall that off. So Fluhfie goes for the capture. Very interesting. This artillery is not really in range to cover the capture. So it's covering just these two tiles right here. So is this a Manx infantry? It might be. But he needs to wall this artillery. And he moves it in. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, no. Fluhfie. Did you forget about the forest movement? Oh. What the hell happened? Oh, sorry about that. I accidentally skipped the turn. These things can happen. But yeah, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I think Fluhfie, yeah, he forgot about the forest cost. This is such an easy blunder to make on this map. I did it myself many times. So, you know, he obviously wanted to go for a wall here with this infantry on this shoal tile right here, which would have covered the artillery perfectly. But he forgot that forests now cost 2 movement as opposed to 1. And so this infantry cannot get here. And so this recon's going to have an absolute field day with this artillery, and it's not going to be good for little Fluhfie here. So, yeah, that recon. In fact, he also has... ttam also has this recon who can attack, so he can actually kill this artillery next turn. It will cost him 2 recons, but it might not be such a bad idea to do it. So Fluhfie's going 2 tanks now. He needs to cover that artillery. He's probably going to lose it. Is ttam going to go for it? I would assume so. He continues capping a bunch of properties, and yeah, here comes the recons. Boom. And boom. Doesn't kill it completely. Needed a little bit of luck to do that, but he actually forgoes his own capture to interrupt Fluhfie's capture, which I agree with. That allows him to attack from the city right here, so that's a really strong position from ttam right here. And he is really pushing his forces into the center. Wow, even going for this ballsy capture over here. Don't think he's gonna get it, but I guess he's feeling pretty good after that move. But he will probably lose both of his recons, so I don't know how cocky he should be here. Because, of course, okay, yeah, Fluhfie pulling his artillery back to the HQ. That's pretty smart. In comes the tank. Boom. He can finish that recon off with an infantry, and that's exactly what he does. And I would guess he's probably going to surround this recon with his remaining units, and yeah, that's exactly what he does. So both those recons are going to fall, but taking out that early game artillery is a pretty big deal, because whoever has artillery superiority in the center here is going to have a huge advantage. Fluhfie, in fact, recognizing this and building an artillery immediately. Oh my goodness, the balls of this guy, you know? He could have taken the city, but he actually opts to interrupt this cap instead. ttam is ahead in capture, so I guess, yeah, he feels comfortable doing this. He doesn't want to let Fluhfie get the city, because this is a strong city for him to get. He can plonk a tank down there, and once he has a tank down there, that sits very comfortably, especially with an artillery backing it up. So yeah, no, he's just going for it. In comes the tank as well. Takes a little bit of a shot with the recon. Kills an infantry. You love to see it. And yeah, just both players. You see how quickly both players reinforce into the center of the map here? It's actually kind of interesting. So this artillery, though, does sit pretty well on the HQ. If he can defend it, it will continue to repair. And it will be a good artillery. Very hard to dislodge with those 4 defense stars. He's protecting it, which is nice. Plonking down a city on the tank right here. A city on the tank. Plonking down a tank by the city here. I do like this move from Fluhfie. So yeah, he will end up killing both of the recons. So yeah, ttam paid 8,000 to take on an artillery, but he also got a lot of good trades in the center with it. So I think it was a pretty good move by ttam. By ttam. So, and here comes the artillery again. You see this sits very comfortably here. If he moves his infantry down there, the mountain really protects the artillery from any sneaky infantry who may try to damage it a little bit. Both players now have their comm towers. That's nice to see. But yeah, ttam needs to be careful not to overextend here, because he is attacking into his opponent's HQ right here. And this HQ is very easy to defend. It has 2 bases, 3 bases actually in short. Like both of these 2 bases can attack units around the HQ. This base can arrive. If he builds recon, they can arrive right away. So yeah, so I wouldn't overextend here if I was Fluhfie. Probably time to pull back, and that's exactly what he does. Yeah, he pulls back. Positions himself around the cities, sitting very comfortably there, just gathering up his forces. This is exactly what you should do. Overextension is the #1 leading cause of deaths in the low elo landscape. So, but Fluhfie, he is behind 2k right now. It's not a big gap. It's certainly not great. He wants to equalize that somehow. As you can see, ttam has been very good at denying these 2 properties from Fluhfie, and now with the artillery here, I don't really see a way Fluhfie's going to take these properties, because Fluhfie can just deny them for the entirety of the game. And this is why I think ttam's opener was very good. He went aggressively into the center, property skip, which is normally is not something that I advise you doing, but on this map in particular, I think he did the right thing. And now he has a lockdown on these two cities, and it's so hard for Fluhfie to fight in the center when he doesn't have these two cities, but ttam does. Because ttam has these two cities, which he can pull weakened units back to, he can pull artillery back to them. He has like such a good foundation for his attack here, whereas Fluhfie does not. He can't reinforce on these two cities. And so the battle is just going to be very hard for him to take right here. So ttam definitely, this is what we call like having the initiative lead. Like ttam has a better initiative compared to Fluhfie. So it's very nice to see, actually. I wonder if ttam actually like planned this opening out. I think he may have done that. But yeah, right now Fluhfie has to kind of pull back to the river and use that as a defensive area. Again, it's going to be so hard for him to take this. He even moves his artillery off the HQ because he really doesn't want to let ttam take this property. Keep in mind, one thing you have to keep in mind is if ttam goes for the capture here with one of his infantry, Fluhfie cannot move into the mountains to interrupt. He only has one avenue of interrupt. He can move into the river, but it's not great. He doesn't get any defense from the river. These infantry are sitting ducks here, especially considering this artillery also covers the river tile. So he has to move his artillery over here to guard against this property being taken. Otherwise, ttam is most likely going to take it. And if ttam manages to get this property, then this attack will be so devastating. Wow, okay. Fluhfie builds a battlecopter, ladies and gentlemen. Not only does this battlecopter have 3 move, it's a Drake battlecopter, so it's minus 20%. Okay, I disagree with this, but maybe he just feels like he needs some avenue to attack over this mountain right here. This battlecopter, though, it's going to take so long to arrive. 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns just to get into the center. And if ttam builds a single anti-air, then it's going to be able to chase the battlecopter down because it has more move than the battlecopter. Now, what he could do is he could send the battlecopter down south and try to harass these 2 properties, but again, ttam can just build an anti-air here in response to that, and it's going to be completely fine. So, but yeah, ttam is really bringing in the guns here. He's preparing an attack, but he's taking his time. He's ahead in income, so he doesn't need to rush ahead, and this is very well played by him. He doesn't need to force the issue. Every turn that passes, he gets a 2k income or a value lead due to his properties. Now here, Fluhfie is moving his artillery into position. He's now guarding the 2 properties. It's going to be hard for ttam to take them, but I don't think that's what ttam is going for here. He wants to just deny Fluhfie from getting them. So the next couple, I would say like the next 7 or 8 days is going to be about these 2 properties right here. Fluhfie's going to try to take them. ttam is going to try and deny them. Out comes the medium tank. I do like this. Lots of medium tanks in the center. You know, it's like D just says. You see 3 tanks centered, clumped together in a certain spot. That's your cue to build a medium tank. You know, because at that point your opponent has such a big tank presence. Trying to match that with tanks of your own, it's going to be very tricky. So just get that medium tank out immediately. But yeah, Fluhfie has kind of like he has to split his forces among the river here. So Fluhfie is a little bit exposed right here with his positioning. You can see ttam, he's gathering his forces north of the river. So his forces can move in unison. But Fluhfie is separated by this river. He has to pull, he can't really move over here. So he has to pull back to the river to group up. So he is split up, ttam is gathered, and that is a very bad thing for Fluhfie. But let's see what he does. Yeah, builds an anti-air. That's smart. The battlecopter's coming down to harass. As you can see, it's so easy to ward it away. ttam also has a medium tank of his own coming into the center here. So this attack is going to be pretty scary when it happens, but he's taking his sweet time. He's building up his forces. He realized he doesn't have to rush. Fluhfie sees the anti-air, goes into the center with the battlecopter instead, but this anti-air can just follow it around. So again, I don't really know. Oh my god, he's building a second battlecopter? Damn, all right. Okay, I don't really see what they're gonna accomplish, but okay, I'll hold my judgment until I see what the battlecopters can actually do. I don't think they're gonna do anything, but we'll see. So, yeah. I mean, maybe he wants a unit count. I mean, he does have a unit count lead over ttam. I mean, that's the benefit of building battlecopters. You can build infantry from all your bases and still use most of your income. So, yeah, but I still disagree with the battlecopters. I don't think they're very good on this map at all. But yeah, ttam is, you know, he continues to center his forces together. Now he has the medium tank spearheading the charge. The artillery are in position. They're really well covered. He has the recon here to help with infantry walls. But Fluhfie is continuing to gather his forces. Oh, interesting. All right. So, okay. He's moving on the right flank. I think ttam can just switch over to the right flank and just crush it. Because again, this river is going to make it very hard for Fluhfie to reinforce. Like, he has to move his units in kind of like this, which is not nice. And you have ttam here who can just kind of, he can move his entire forces over to the right-hand side and just crush it with a switch, whereas Fluhfie cannot do that as easily. So I don't really know what I guess he's trying to apply pressure to this city, but he's not going to get this city, because this city is within 1 turn reinforcement range of this base right here. So a tank can come and interrupt this. So I don't really know why Fluhfie is moving his forces down on the right flank here. I don't really... Oh god, he's moving a tank too. And a medium tank. I mean, this is... Don't get me wrong, this is a good position for the medium tank. There's not really anything that can challenge it right here. But I think Fluhfie is spreading himself too thin. Because right now, his forces are actually split in 3. He has like 1 force here, 1 force here, and then 1 force here. Whereas ttam has all of his forces in the center. So he can freely attack any of these triangles right here as he pleases. So I do think Fluhfie is going to be punished pretty hard for this if he keeps up the way he's splitting his forces here. And there's also no way he's getting these 2 properties right now. They are as good as lost. Ttam has an iron grip on those. In fact, moving back like this is kind of scary, because right now, Fluhfie is actually letting ttam take these 2 properties. His artillery are no longer guarding them. Now, he obviously has to back off because this medium tank forces a wall break. But, oh god, okay, ttam is going for it now. He's like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna grab your properties now. And he might even get them. See, the battlecopters, they're barely in range, but only of 1 of the cities. And there's an anti-air here that will just kill them if he tries anything funny. And now, ttam is moving in his artilleries, and look at how beautifully these artillery cover his units. You know, there's nothing threatening this medium tank, so he doesn't really need to cover it. The battlecopter's not in range because it is tree move because of the freaking snow. However, he is pulling back a little bit on this front, so Fluhfie could gain some ground here, but still, he's not taking this property. Like, there's no way he's taking this property. I don't see any way he's going to be able to pull that off. Ttam goes for another medium tank. He has to challenge this medium tank somehow, so that makes sense. In comes the battlecopter. It does have the advantage of being to move. It can move over the river and mountain tiles. That's like the one good thing about it, but still, the anti-air is just going to crush it. But Fluhfie is now centering most of his forces around his HQ, which I agree with. Ttam's attack is coming in next turn, and it's going to be very scary. Yeah, he's pulling all of his forces back here because he realizes that the attack is coming. Now, I don't think ttam can break this. This is a very solid defense. Battlecopter's backing it up. I think ttam would be better off front switching, maybe focusing on this area of the map, or maybe trying to grab these 2 properties. But look, he's getting 2 properties right here. If Fluhfie's not interrupting that, ooh, that is bad. So now ttam's going to secure himself a very solid income lead. I mean, this attack has already been worth it. He can pull back now. So he has 18k to Fluhfie's 14k. And yeah, that is nasty. Oh, even goes for the mech here. Okay, all right, interesting. So let me check. Can mechs... Yeah. So it seems like mechs actually can move 1 over rivers. They're not slowed down by the snow at all. So that's interesting. All right, okay, that's interesting. So I guess mountain's the only thing that slows down mechs in snow. But yeah, look at ttam. Like, he has what he came for, which are the 2 properties. So he doesn't care anymore. Like, he can pull back now. He doesn't need to attack in. So beautifully done by ttam right here. Moved in, attacked to force Fluhfie to pull back. Grab the 2 properties, pulls back again. This is exactly what you should do in a situation like this. And now, honestly, ttam doesn't even need to push at this point. He has an 18k income lead to Fluhfie's 14k. So 4,000 income lead. So every turn that goes by, his value will just race ahead of Fluhfie. So Fluhfie needs to be the one who actually attacks now. So yeah, if I was ttam now, I'd just plunk down the artillery, make an infantry wall, and just sit down and relax, like drink my monster. Talk about how they didn't make games like they used to, you know, like just Jackrabbit, and just relax in the snow, you know. Like, he doesn't need to do shit. He will win this game if Fluhfie just sits passively by. It is up to the player who's behind to make things happen. When you're ahead, you control the game, you control the tempo, you decide what happens. You're the boss. So, okay. So, here, Fluhfie decides to place his medium tank in range of ttam's medium tank because he has an artillery. But this is scary because ttam will get the first strike here, as we see. And then after he kills this tank, this artillery will fall too in short succession. So yeah, this is pretty scary. If this was a full health artillery and the artillery was here, I would have liked this move a lot more. But this is a little scary. I mean, Fluhfie does have some tanks that he can move into reinforce, and this artillery is not in position yet. But yeah, okay, ttam is moving in a lot of forces on the right-hand side. He realizes he can't attack in the center, so he's switching all of his forces over to the right, which is the smart thing to do for sure. More artillery, more tanks. Again, he's sitting comfortably. So yeah, Fluhfie will get a shot off with this artillery right here, but that's pretty much all he will do, because this tank will fall next turn, and then this artillery will fall as well. So this is looking pretty scary. Yeah, he needs to pull back. He recognizes that artillery is dead, so he's not trying to protect it at this point. He's just cutting his losses, getting out of there. Ooh, and what is Fluhfie doing? Is just building infantry. Woo! Okay, all right, look at that. 33k in the bank. We all know what that means. So, but yeah, see here. ttam is coming in. He's even taking this property right now. This is devastating. If he gets this property, he can plunk down the medium tank here. He might lose it though. No, the tanks can't reinforce. A full health tank might take on a 2 HP medium tank depending on how high it is. But this is bad because, oh my god, now this city is being threatened too. And if Fluhfie is not careful, this city might be threatened too. So ttam is just systematically grabbing city after city after city, just choking Fluhfie out. It's like the Deej's analogy of the world champion boxer, you know? Doesn't matter if you're Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali. If someone is like cutting off your oxygen supply, you got like 30 seconds left max before you faint. So, and that's exactly what ttam is doing here to Fluhfie. He's just cutting off his oxygen. Capturing city after city. He doesn't go for the big push. He doesn't need to. He's just slowly taking city after city. And next turn, if Fluhfie doesn't do anything, I mean, he did attack, so it'll take one more turn. But once the city gets captured, it's going to be 19 to 13k. That is terrible. So Fluhfie needs to push, but how is he supposed to push? He's outnumbered, so it's a tough situation. Yeah, this city's gonna fall too. What ttam can do here is he can actually just like constantly join cap into this property. He can do it. He's ahead, so he can do that. But no, he actually moves in the artillery so that he can ward away the units here. Beautifully played. But yeah, no, he's applying pressure in the right areas. And he's going to get this city. I don't think Fluhfie's going to be able to take it. Ah, there we go. Yes. Ah, I was waiting for this. Yes, the black bomb is here. So it only has 4 move. And it also runs out of fuel very, very quickly. 45 fuel, it burns 5 fuel per turn, just like a fighter and bomber. It normally has 8 move, but now it has 4. So you got to be very careful. They're very prone to crashing. And keep in mind, this is a Drake match, and the Tsunami and Typhoon are coming in here. So if either player pop their power, it's going to halve the Black Bomb's fuel. So that can actually cause it to crash. But the Black Bomb is coming, and he's building another Black Bomb. So 2 Black Bombs from Fluhfie. I do think this is the proper response, because how else is he going to equalize the playing field here? ttam is outnumbering him, but if he can get some value Black Bomb hits, then maybe there's something he can do. So ttam takes the city, 19k to 13k. He's also threatening this city. Fluhfie needs to make something happen fast. And yeah, look at that recon, man. My goodness. No tanks in the vicinity. This recon's having a field day. Battlecopter's too slow to reinforce. Yeah, Fluhfie's left flank is collapsing right here. Yes, there are black bombs in the area, but the black bomb doesn't want to blow up on this. The black bomb costs 25,000. It's a very expensive unit. It needs to blow up like right here to be valuable. So, but don't count Fluhfie out yet, because as soon as that Typhoon rolls in, these black bombs will have 8 move. So he'll be able to do things with them. Maybe, we'll see. So Fluhfie, he has to interrupt this capture, otherwise he'll be down to 12k. That is pretty much a death sentence at that point. Sax is 1 HP infantry. Interesting choice right there. He can, yeah, so ttam's artillery is blocking the city, otherwise he could have put an artillery there, so. But yeah, the black bombs are coming in. They're close, but this left flank is incredibly weak. It's collapsing now. Yeah, he needs tanks here to ward away the recon. And, ooh, did he just place his battlecopter in range of the anti-air? Ooh, that, I think, oh god. He's protecting his black bomb, but that infantry can easily be killed. So I think ttam's going to punish that next turn. I mean, he has a solid defense, but the thing is, like, Fluhfie has a solid defense here, but ttam doesn't need to break it to win. But he's going in. Oh boy. Oh my god. Is he gonna... Okay, so Fluhfie has his Typhoon ready. Is ttam going to get his Typhoon first? Getting a Typhoon right now would be huge. Whoever, usually in a Drake match, whoever can get their Typhoon first is in a good position. Okay, actually pulling back here. He realizes the Typhoon might be coming in here. So yeah, okay, so here we go, Fluhfie. This is your big turn right here. You have Typhoon available. Once you pop it, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, oh, 1, 2, 3. He can get the medium tank, actually, with the Black Bomb, but he needs to pull back. That's actually kind of important. Oh god, I love this track. So, oh, he's not popping his Typhoon? Oh god, he needs to get an APC out. Yeah, he needs to build an APC, otherwise he's gonna... Yeah, that's exactly probably what he's gonna do. He's gonna move his APC over here. Okay, I kind of disagree with this move. I think Fluhfie definitely needed to pop his Typhoon this turn. I guess he felt like he wanted to get the Black Bombs more into position first, but now he's gonna give ttam the Typhoon, and that is devastating. Because now ttam can run in. I mean, maybe he's hoping ttam will pop Typhoon and then overextend. He's definitely gonna pop it, surely. Yeah, there we go. There it comes. So that's pretty devastating. Drains 6 fuel left on that guy. 1 fuel next turn. If he had moved it 1 square further, then he would have crashed. But yeah, here comes the attack. And oh my god, it is the devastating one. ttam knows he's gonna run headfirst into a Black Bomb, but he doesn't really care. Oh boy. Fluhfie, that Black Bomb's gonna have to be the stuff of legends. Yeah, in comes the attack. It's a devastating one. Yeah, this is why you don't want to let your opponent pop Typhoon first. But let's see. Fluhfie, right now, 88,000. 93,000 value to 226,000. That's a bad situation to be in. Let's see what he does. Okay, boom. Supplies his Black Bombs. And first things first. Decent. I'd say that's about 30k worth of value. So he loses 25k and he takes 30k away from his opponents. That's a decent Black Bomb right here. What is he going to do with the other one, though? In comes the Typhoon. So from 194,000 down to 148,000. That's a good Typhoon. But what about the second Black Bomb? What is he going to do? Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh, no! Fluhfie! Did you not know the Black Bomb did friendly fire? Oh, no! Fluhfie, what are you doing? Oh no, look at the poor infantry, just all died. Yeah, to anyone who doesn't know how the Black Bomb works, guys, it's like a missile silo. It will damage your own units. I don't blame people for not knowing how the Black Bomb works because it is a unit that is banned from every game. But yeah, he definitely needed to pull this infantry back there. That was pretty devastating. Now, even if he had pulled this infantry back, I don't really think there's a way he can come back from this. Like, don't get me wrong, those were 2 very nice Black Bomb hits, but I think the fact that his opponent got the Typhoon first, yeah, there we go. He already resigned. So, already resigned. That makes sense. Still, though, a valiant defense from Fluhfie there. Really, he really screwed up with that Black Bomb. I think. Would he have been able to push the attack back if he had popped Typhoon first? Maybe. I don't think so. I think ttam was way too far ahead. His income lead was too great. Keep also in mind that this map has a 30-day limit, or the tournament has a 30-day limit, so you can just sit back and sit on your properties and win that way. But overall, I think both players played well. ttam played really well, considering I think he's the lowest rated of the two. He played incredibly well in this map. I think he definitely trained for the opening. I think that was the difference between them. It looked like ttam had a clear plan with how he moved his infantry and his capture train, and he had a clear battle plan in that he was constantly denying these 2 properties away from his opponent, and then he even managed to take them himself. So that was really well played. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 turns left of the Egg Cup. Round, actually, no, we have 3 turns if you count the finale. That's going to be a live match, by the way. So we have round 8, round 9, and round 10 remaining. And then we're going to start with season 2 after we've done that. And that is going to have some really cool maps. If you haven't participated in the map contest yet, definitely go check that out. You still have some time to submit maps until the end of the month. So definitely send them in. My map committee is very ruthless, but they've picked a good chunk of maps already, and they're very good. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This was a fun match. Really looking forward to the next one, though. It's going to be 2 titans squaring off against each other. Really, really looking forward to that match. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!